Chapter 30. The Women's Movement. Women in the 1800s were expected to take care of the family and stay at home. They had little freedom and few rights. Most women in Europe and US didn't have a legal identity apart from their husband. In the late 1700s, the post-industrial revolution created demand for more workers. So women began taking jobs in factory and later as secretaries, sales clerks, and typists. Some women became teachers and nurses, but the feminist movement began long before then. Feminism, the belief that all sexes should have equal social, political, economic, and other rights. The vindication of the right of women. In 1792, a British writer named Mary Wollstonecraft argued for equal rights for men and women in her work Vindication, Defense, Pleading, Justification. Vindication of the right of woman. Wollstonecraft states that the power of men over women was just as wrong as the arbitrary, random, subjective, arbitrary power of monarchy over their subject. So argued that if the Enlightenment was based on a ideal of reason in all humans, women must have reason too and were entitled to the same rights as men. Wollstonecraft sought equality in education and in economic and political life. In the 1830s, many women in Europe and the US pursued for the right to divorce and own property. Women fought to go to university. They set out to enter professions previously limited to men. Arbitrary, unfair, determined by individual preference as opposed to the law. Women's for women, arbitrary, determined by individual preference as opposed to a law. The fight for suffrage, voting right, suffrage. In the 1840s and 1850s, the women's right movement began to focus the voting right. They believed that suffragette, the right to vote, was essential. These women called suffragists, companion in many different ways. In Britain, some suffragists went on hunger strikes and changed themselves to the Prime Minister's house. In the US, leaders like Susan B. Anson and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anson, gave lectures and spoke at rallies at the Senegal Falls Convention held in New York, 1848. Stanton presented the Declaration of Right and Sentiment she had written, based on the Declaration of Independence, in states that both men and women are created equal and have rights including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. 100 suffragists at the convention signed the Declaration of Right and Sentiment to demand the right to vote. Most were women, but a few men, such as Frederick Douglass, supported women's suffrage. Women's Rights Convention. In 1893, New Zealand became the first country to grant women to women the right to vote in the national election. In the U.S., Wyoming became the first territory to grant the right to vote to women, and 1869 it officially became a state in 1890. But it wasn't until 1920 that women's suffrage extended nationwide. Via the 19th Amendment, women over the age of 21 finally gained the right to vote in Britain in 1928. Women all over the globe were fighting for their right. In 1910, the International Feminist Congresses met for the first time in Argentina. The second meeting was in Mexico in 1916.